Hello, Odd Job Doer here, and today we're doing another cookbook review. And this particular one happens to be Slow Cooker Recipe Collection. 3 cookbooks in one featuring all new slow cooker and more, and slow cooker recipes. And this publication came out, I believe, in 2001, and I don't remember, or didn't really do much research to find out when the rest of the books came out. But it reads like this. You got all new slow cooker, has a front page, has the contents here. So you have it in the beginning, like appetizers, steaming chills, okay, soups, stews, piping hot poultry, beef porks, give me a side of, and totally vegetarian. But when you fan back through the book here, here's the next book, Slow Cooker and More. Soup, stews, main dishes, and more. And we'll go back a little bit more here to this one here. Yeah, slow cooker recipes. And the recipe we're going to do tonight, or today, because it's early, but for tonight here, we're doing this creamy turkey soup. Looks good, doesn't it? And so for this right here, you'll need similar recipes here, which I already got done up. We got ourselves some turkey here. This here takes about 2 cups of chopped cooked turkey breast meat. Right here we got some sage, about a teaspoon of sage, a little powdery stuff down there. Now we've got some 8 ounces of chopped washed mushrooms here. We got our medium diced onions that I just put in this little package here, you know, for safety. We have a 4-ounce jar of pimentos. 2 10.5-ounce cans of cream of chicken soup. We'll be needing some milk, half a cup of milk, and a cup of frozen peas thawed. Okay, so you just get your frozen peas out, thaw them before you put them in. Now, back over to the crock pot. This here is pretty much, a different way of cooking. I think they've talked about crock pots being around since the 1970s, but the method here has actually been around centuries old. You used to wrap stuff up, put it in an earthen oven, or a clay pot that is totally covered in a clay pot, and just, bake it out in the heat of the day in the sun, or not, a fire pit. So instead of that, this is the household convenience of doing that method. So what you have is the base of the crock pot. Usually has a real short cord here, and that's to keep things from getting tripped over. But this one is kind of a simple one. You have on the front here, you got your off, keep warm, low, and high. Some have digital crock pots. You can do some temperature settings, or more or less you can have time settings to have them turn on and off at certain times. But this one here, not so bad. And then what goes in here is this insert. This is actually the crock. This is the heaviest part of the crock pot usually. So I'll put it in here, just slips right in. Alright, and so you always have a crock pot for a cooking vessel. And you don't cook in this. This doesn't stand still, it's aluminum. And, use your crock pot. And last but not least, we have the lid. So lid's something like this right here, and has a hole in it there for vapor to escape. Other crock pots might have a sliding deal. You can adjust the steam that comes out. And, really this lid, this lid doesn't hunker down. It just sits on top, keep bugs and stuff from falling in. And, glass you can look at throughout the day. So, that's the ports of the crock pot. Now then, on to the recipe. Alright, so step 1 of this recipe is you combine the soup, turkey, mushrooms, sage, and onions, which I'm not going to use all this thing. I'm going to use about 3/4 of that onion package, into the crock pot. Alright? So, let me get that done real quick, and I will be back. Alright, so there we got soup, turkey, mushrooms, and sage. I'm going to give it some stirs here, combine it in. And one thing that I like to do if I'm cooking in a crock pot is if you're putting mushrooms in and certain other ingredients, I like to put a thicker cut on them. Maybe because some ingredients in a crock pot, you got them in there, you got them cooking for, days, or, maybe at least, 8 hours or so. You will find that when you used to have an ingredient you put in there, it just simply disappeared. It's become away with the gravy mix. And now this particular recipe is a little bit different from one of the other ones in the cookbook. They had another one in there for a turkey stew. And that actually took turkey cutlet meat, I believe. And you would take that and put it in raw. And so you'd cook it. And it didn't have so much other liquid because, sometimes you have liquids coming from your meats or vegetables in there. All right, scrape down the side a little bit. Pat this down a little bit. There we go. Yummy, yummy. All right, so we got that there. Now then, this here will go on low, and this is an important part. This right here, plug. Should get that plugged in. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. There we go. This here, I'll just simply turn to low. And this is going to go for the next 8 hours. You can do it on high for 4 hours or low for 8. Now then, if you're doing it for the low for 8 hours, the other step is you got over here. You got milk, your cup of thawing peas, and your little pimentos. Step 2 of this is that you add those in after the 8 hours is up, and you turn it to high. Then you stir in your peas, milk, pimentos, and cook additional 10 minutes or until heated through. So that's pretty much it. You put that off there. Notice I'm using a silicone lined spatula, not metal to bang on this crock. Alright, so got that there. And of course you need the lid. If you don't have the lid on, it'll probably never get hot. It's hot enough to cook anything. So there we go. And let's wait for 8 hours while we stand here. Alright, well, back to the cookbook. So another thing here, slow cooker recipes. The availability of it seemed kind of hard to find. I couldn't find too many of them, but when I did find them, doing searches, they're like around the $4 mark. Originally, this book was a $19.95 book. And, other recipes they have, besides the turkey soup here, we got asparagus cheese side dish. We got Donna's potato casserole, whoever Donna is. We have some food facts here. Now, stewed catfish bell peppers. Right. I wonder how that works out. Yeah. Slow cooker and more. That's from that cookbook. We got this one here. That's nice. Nice little. This is bean and cornbread casserole. I noticed in the back of this book too, they have some. Let's see, a blue cheese potato recipe, slow roasted potatoes. So you can do more than just soups and stews. They even have like a little peach bologna or something dessert there, looks like. But let's see. In the back here we got hints and tips and index. Oh, that looks good. Is that some kind of cornbread pudding or chocolate? Maybe next time. So, talk about some of the history of the slow cookers. Always taste the finished product before you serve it to see if you need to add any more stuff to it. Keep the lid on. It says it's about, it might take up to 20 minutes to get back up the heat that's lost from putting the lid off when you're cooking. If you want to stir something. Oh, they talk about this foil thing here for meatloaf. You make that little cross thing, and you put your meatloaf in there to put in the crock pot. I wouldn't do that myself. I'm not a fan of aluminum soaking in anything, especially an acidic thing. Or cooking with aluminum myself. I got some food safety tips here. Of course, the measurements, and if you don't have like buttermilk, until you use the lemon juice or vinegar with milk, Instead of a whole egg, use 2 egg yolks plus 1 teaspoon of cold water. All right. Well, if you have a whole egg, how do you get 2 egg yolks? I don't know. Any tips there? Nope. All right. So a lot of stuff in here. Crock pots. Not only are they good for main dishes, soups, and stews. You can do whole meats in there. You can do ribs in there for really good flavor on them. You can probably do fish, any kind of seafood. I'm pretty sure any kind of food you can almost put in a crock pot. At least some kind of setting. I don't know if I have a recipe for everything, but you can see now the lid's getting kind of smoked up. Just kidding, it's not hot yet. But eventually this will get a little bit hot here. This outer part, yeah, it says hot surface on it. And it is getting warm. So, a little safety there, don't touch this. Don't touch this probably. But this you can pull off. And yeah, so we will let this cook for 8 hours. And so I don't have to talk for 8 hours. And be back to add the rest of the ingredients later. Alright, so we're back here to do a little checkup on it. And you can see it's all getting steamed up still. Let's take a little look inside here. I can feel the heat coming off this thing. And some people prefer this type of thing. Cooking method, I should say, not just a thing. The cooking method during the summer times, because it doesn't really heat up your kitchen a whole lot. So I give it a little stir. Get those pieces all submerged in the brothy liquid that's happening here. And, it cooks pretty even by itself, but give it a stir once in a while, scrape it on the sides. That will help it cook even more even. Alright, so we got still a few hours, so I'm going to go do some odd jobs. And leave this to its cooking. Alright, so 8 hours have passed, and I'm going to take a look at it here, get this lid off. And, ow, hot lid. Careful. Give it a little bit of a stir there. You can see it's kind of bubbling there. You can see it's nice and soupy. And now is the time where you'll turn it to high. Right like that, to high. And you'll add your cup of peas that have been thawed. And then your 4 ounces of pimentos. And you should drain them. Get the extra juice out of them. I give them a light drain here. And you'll add in your cup of milk. So, let's see here. Drain the pimentos. Make a mess everywhere. Alright. So something like that. And something like this. There, that brings some color to the party. Now wash your pimento hands off. Unless you use a better method than that. And I'll just be eyeballing the cup of milk. Half a cup. With a cup, so alright, half a cup of milk. Okay, give that a stir, incorporate it all back in there. Now we got that on high to heat back up, and like I said earlier, on with the lid. Alright, so 10 more minutes to heat it through. Alright, so 10 minutes later here, open this pot up, let the steam out, and set it off yonder. You can see there, it is done basically. So we'll get the lid on here, get some stir. Nice scoop of that. Alright. Ooh, steamy. Yonder and into a bowl. kind of a colorful dish. So anyways, I will eat some of that with some of this here, a little bread here, dip it in, and get back and tell you what I think of it. Alright, so that was the creamy turkey soup, and we had it there, and you know, it's pretty good. For a little recap, make sure if you get condensed cream of chicken soup, add some water to it. I didn't do a whole can worth, I just did a cup. So instead of like 10.5 ounces, I did 8 ounces each, so 16 ounces of water. That actually made it soup instead of a thick stew that was becoming. Make sure you try to add that right at the beginning of cooking it. And one of the good things about the crock pots, kind of like this vessel here, you know, crock pots normally have a glaze to them now. And if it's a good one, the glaze goes all the way around, not just on the inside. And that makes cleanup really easy. So if you're you know, if you do get some like little, you know, stuck on pieces, you can soak it, or you can just use these little scrapers here to scrape the inside of it. Because by nature, a crock pot is basically a non-stick surface. So, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And I'd try this recipe again, especially after Thanksgiving. You have leftover turkey. I'd make this, you know, a couple days later. And yeah, if you get a cookbook reviews you want me to check out, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. And this is Dodge Up Viewer. Thanks for watching.